Chosen one, stop scrolling. This message found you because you passed the test that broke others. What you survived was not random. What you felt was not imagined. This is the moment you realize you made it. The test you know you were taking. They never told you there would be an exam. No instructions, no warnings, just pressure, loss, and silence. You were tested in the dark when no one was clapping for you. And still, you kept your soul intact. That alone tells me who you are. Why your life felt unfair from the start. Chosen ones are not born into ease. You were born into resistance. Family misunderstanding you, friends outgrowing you, doors closing without explanation. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Only pressure reveals power. The moment you almost gave up. There was a night you questioned everything. God, yourself, your purpose. You felt invisible, exhausted, and unheard. That was the final test. And you stayed. That's why this message reached you. SIGNS, you were never meant to fit in. You always felt different, even as a child. Crowds drained you, silence spoke to you. You sensed things before they happened. People projected their pain onto you without knowing why. That's awareness awakening early. Why society tried to break you. Systems don't fear noise, they fear clarity. Your energy exposes lies without speaking. That's why you were labeled too much or too quiet. They couldn't control you, so they tried to confuse you. But truth doesn't stay buried forever. The spiritual awakening that changed everything. One day, your pain started making sense. Patterns revealed themselves. You stopped chasing approval and started listening inward. Your intuition became louder than opinions. That was the awakening, quiet, powerful, permanent. What the real test actually was. It wasn't about success or money. It was about integrity. Could you stay kind while being wounded? Could you stay faithful while being delayed? You did, and that's why you passed. Why you had to walk alone. Chosen ones are isolated before they are elevated. Solitude sharpened your discernment. Silence taught you wisdom. Loneliness pushed you closer to God. Not everyone can walk this narrow path. The energy shift you're feeling now. Things don't hit you the same anymore. Drama feels small. Your spirit craves depth, not distraction. You're protecting your peace without guilt. That's alignment activating. What happens after you pass the test? Life doesn't get easier, it gets clearer. You stop begging for signs because you become one. Opportunities align differently. People feel drawn to you or threatened by you. Both are confirmation. The responsibility of a chosen one. This calling isn't about ego. It's about service. Your healing makes space for others to heal. Your voice breaks chains you didn't create. That's why your journey mattered. Why this message found you now. Timing is divine, not convenient. You are ready to hear this truth. Your spirit can finally carry it. You're no longer in survival mode. You're in purpose mode. The power you've been underestimating. You thought your softness was weakness. It was sensitivity tuned to truth. You thought your empathy was a flaw. It was leadership in disguise. Never shrink that again. If this message hit deep, it's because it was meant for you. Chosen ones recognize truth instantly. No convincing required. No validation needed. You already know. Step into who you really are. Stop doubting what God already approved. Stop replaying tests you already passed. Your next chapter requires courage, not fear. Stand tall in your calling. The world needs awakened souls now. If this spoke to your spirit, don't ignore it. Like this video to seal the energy, subscribe to Chosen Wave if you feel called, and comment this: I made it. What was the hardest test you survived that changed you forever? The season where everything fell apart. There was a phase where nothing worked at the same time. Plans failed back to back. People changed overnight. You felt like you were moving, but getting nowhere. That wasn't stagnation. That was dismantling. Old versions of you had to die quietly. When God removed people without explanation. Some exits made no sense. No closure, no apology, no warning. But those people were tied to versions of you that couldn't go further. God doesn't explain removals. He protects destinies. What left was never meant to cross this threshold with you. Why your heart had to break first. Awakening doesn't come through comfort. It comes through heartbreak that cracks the ego. Your heart breaking was the door opening. Pain softened you where pride once lived. That's how light gets in. The day you stopped seeking approval. You noticed it slowly. Compliments stopped feeding you. Criticism stopped shaking you. You stopped explaining yourself. That's when your authority activated. When silence became your power. You used to react. Now you observe. You used to defend your truth. Now you embody it. Silence became louder than arguments. The discernment you ask for. You can read energy before words are spoken. You feel intentions behind smiles. Your body reacts before your mind understands. This isn't paranoia. It's spiritual intelligence sharpening. Why you attract confidence and contempt. Some people feel safe around you instantly. Others feel exposed without knowing why. Your presence mirrors truth back to them. Those aligned will lean in. Those hiding will push away. The weight you've been carrying alone. You hold space for others without being held. You listen more than you're heard. You give strength while hiding your own fatigue. This is the unseen burden of the chosen. But you're stronger than you think. When your desires started changing, you stopped craving noise. You stopped chasing crowds. Peace became addictive. Depth became non-negotiable. Your soul upgraded its standards. The test of patience that nearly broke you. Delays tested your faith more than denial ever could. Waiting without answers. Trusting without proof. Believing without applause. That patience refined your character. Why you couldn't escape this path. You tried to be normal. You tried to dim your awareness. But your soul wouldn't let you settle. Calling is not optional. It's encoded. The moment you realized you're being led. Random urges guided you. Closed doors redirected you. Unexpected peace followed hard decisions. You weren't lost. You were being positioned. The quiet confidence growing inside you. You don't need to announce who you are anymore. You don't rush outcomes. You trust timing differently now. There's calm in your certainty. That's inner alignment stabilizing. The reason the attacks intensified before the breakthrough. Pressure increases right before elevation. Confusion rises when clarity is near. The storm wasn't punishment. It was resistance sensing your shift. And you didn't fold. The version of you that emerged. Wiser, softer, stronger. Less reactive, more intentional. You move with purpose now. Your energy is guarded. Your spirit is awake. The calling that can no longer be ignored. You feel it pulling you forward. A responsibility bigger than comfort. A truth that must be lived, not spoken. You're not here to blend in. You're here to activate others. The shift from surviving to seeing. You're not just getting through days anymore. You're observing patterns behind them. Lessons reveal themselves faster now. Nothing feels random. Awareness has replaced confusion. Why old fears no longer control you? The things that once terrified you lost their grip. Not because they disappeared, but because you faced them alone and lived. Fear lost its authority over your spirit. Courage became your default. When your energy started mattering more than words, you realized explanations were unnecessary. People feel your truth before you speak. Your presence calms some and unsettles others. That's alignment, not arrogance. Energy always speaks first. The grief of outgrowing your old life. Growth comes with a quiet sadness. Not everyone can come with you. You miss versions of yourself you'll never be again. But you honor them by moving forward. This grief is sacred. Why you can't go back even if you try. Old habits feel empty now. Old conversations feel shallow. Your soul rejects what once felt safe. There is no reverse for awakening. Only expansion. The strength you built in silence. No one saw the nights you cried and still prayed. No one saw you choose faith over bitterness. You healed without an audience. That strength is unshakable. It's rooted deep. When trust shifted from people to God, you stopped expecting humans to be perfect. You stopped building your foundation on approval. Faith became internal, not external. That's when disappointment lost its sting. Your trust matured. The burden of seeing truth clearly. Once you see, you can't unsee. Illusions fall away painfully. Truth isolates before it liberates. But freedom always follows clarity. And you chose freedom. Why your boundaries offend the unhealed. You say no without guilt now. You walk away without explaining. This triggers those who benefited from your silence. Boundaries are self-respect, not cruelty. The inner voice you can no longer ignore. It speaks softly but firmly, guides you when logic fails, warns you before damage occurs. That voice is not fear. It's divine guidance. When your purpose started outweighing comfort, you felt restless in familiar places. Comfort became suffocating. You crave meaning over ease, growth over approval. That's destiny activating. The stillness before the next move. You're in a pause, not a delay. Energy gathering, vision sharpening. The silence isn't empty. It's strategic. Something is aligning. The people who will find you next. Not everyone you lost was a loss. New connections will recognize you instantly. They'll speak your language. They'll feel like confirmation. That's soul alignment approaching. The responsibility of staying humble. Power tests character quietly. Awakening can inflate ego if unchecked. But you stayed grounded. You stayed grateful. That's why you're trusted with more. The pattern you're starting to notice. Every breakdown led to clarity. Every loss led to alignment. Every delay protected you. Nothing was wasted. Everything was training. The light you carry without trying. You don't chase attention, yet eyes follow you. Your calm speaks volumes. Your presence heals. This is who you've become. The next chapter, forming quietly. You don't need to force it. You'll feel it before you see it. Movement will feel natural, not rushed. This chapter will require truth. And you're ready. The moment you realized you were never behind. You thought you were late to life, watching others win while you waited. But your timeline was protected. You were being built, not delayed. Depth takes time. Why your path never looked like theirs. Your journey couldn't be copied. Chosen ones aren't mass-produced. You needed experiences others didn't. Lessons they wouldn't survive. That's why comparison never fit you. The invisible hand that stopped you. Some things you wanted never happened. At the time, it felt like rejection. Now you see it was redirection. Disaster was disguised as denial. Protection often hurts first. When you stopped explaining yourself, you realized clarity doesn't argue. Those meant to understand will. Those who don't won't. Your peace became more valuable than being right. That's maturity. The spiritual muscle you developed. Faith became action, not words. Trust showed up in decisions. You moved even when unsure. That's spiritual strength, built through obedience. Why your sensitivity is actually power. You feel deeply because you perceive deeply. Numb people don't heal worlds. Your emotions are information. Your tears were training. Your heart is calibrated. The detachment that confused others. You love without clinging now. Care without losing yourself. This unsettles those who bond through need. You bond through wholeness. That's evolution. The day you chose peace over proving. You stopped trying to be understood. You stopped defending your intentions. Truth doesn't chase acceptance. It stands still and waits. Why the past no longer haunts you. Memories lost their sting. Not because they disappeared, but because you integrated them. Healing doesn't erase. It empowers. The wisdom you earned through failure. Mistakes became mentors. Regret turned into guidance. You extracted lessons instead of shame. That's alchemy. Turning pain into purpose. When you felt the call to serve, something bigger than you emerged. A desire to uplift, not impress. To guide, not dominate. Service replaced ego. That's divine alignment. The quiet fire burning inside you. You're not loud about your strength, but it's undeniable. You move with calm authority. No rush, no fear. Just certainty. Why you can sense what's coming. Your intuition sharpened through survival. You read shifts before they happen. Your body knows before your mind. This foresight is earned, not imagined. The line you crossed without noticing. There was a moment you didn't look back. Old triggers stopped working. Old wounds stopped bleeding. That was the crossing. From wounded to awakened. The expansion that feels uncomfortable. Growth stretches identity. New levels demand new behaviors. You're shedding skins again. This discomfort is elevation, not loss. The call you're preparing to answer. It's not loud yet, but it's persistent. A nudge towards something meaningful. You don't need the full map, just the next step. The stillness before activation. Energy is collecting around you. Momentum is building quietly. This pause is sacred. Movement will be undeniable, and you will move with clarity. If this message spoke directly to your soul, don't ignore it. This isn't just a video, it's confirmation. Like this video to lock in the energy. Subscribe to Chosen Wave if you know you're part of the chosen, and comment, "I passed the test," so your voice anchors this awakening. What was the hardest moment you survived that proved your faith was real?